What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Curious Idiots video. We got part 2 of the...
Bruh.
No, my thing was hurting, sorry. Today we got part 2 of an honest discussion on race, politics, and police. And we're going to be talking about education today. So without further ado, let's get right into it. There's no doubt that education plays a crucial role in child development and in determining economic opportunities and general life outcomes. In America, public schools are mostly funded through property taxes within their own district. This means that less affluent areas will have schools with less funding and therefore less resources. According to the 2018 US Census, the African American poverty rate was 20.1, whereas the white poverty rate was 8.1. And the median household amongst African Americans was $41,361 a year, which is the lowest among all racial groups. Therefore, clearly there's going to be a discrepancy in terms of education quality and the amount of funding public schools in those neighborhoods could receive. Due to government policies, children in those districts are not allowed to venture outside their district to enroll in other schools. This even means that you can't pick a school even if a better one is just a few blocks away. This leaves students trapped in bad school environments with no way to get out. And furthermore, public government schools are unionized and teachers enjoy tenure. What does this mean? This means that it's extremely difficult to fire incompetent teachers. Now that we've laid out the problem and consulted the statistics, let's meet charter schools. What are charter schools? Charter schools are also publicly funded schools, but they can be started by private citizens. This means anyone is free to start a charter school. Charter schools abide by the same government curriculums, but are free to adopt different teaching styles and homework policies. They can also adopt different schooling hours. Some charter schools run from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Charter schools are also not unionized, meaning that incompetent teachers can be fired. A lot of politicians, superintendents, and teachers unions actually oppose charter schools. Now here we have a clip of both Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders in their own respective campaigns talking about how they would be done with charter schools if they were elected president.
Now the proposal that I brought forth on education ends all private charter schools in this country.
If I'm president, Betsy DeVos's whole notion from charter schools to this are gone.
So the question is, why do they oppose it so vehemently? The simple answer is charter schools take away from public government schools' monopoly on education. The government doesn't like when you take away their power or influence in any sphere of public life.
And yet now Philadelphia and many other cities are rejecting new charter applications. Philadelphia rejected David Hardy's plan to open a girls' Latin. You're succeeding and they're trying to kill you off.
Because they realize that if we continue to take children away, they won't have jobs.
If charters are so bad, why do they hold lotteries for enrollment? Clearly the demand exceeds the supply.
Parents line up, hoping to get their kids admitted.
A lottery will decide which students will stay or go.
This lottery was in New York.
Congratulations.
The winners are ecstatic, but there are many more losers.
Many inner city parents wish to take their kids out of public schools for charter schools. And even if charter schools were on average no better than public schools, who cares? The point is educational competition, not monopoly. Competition will drive innovation and force schools to improve in order to drive up student enrollment. Having a monopoly in anything is not good for innovation or for improving the quality of it. Public schools having this monopoly on education while enforcing strict boundary rules only serves to hurt the children who are in these districts that don't have good quality schools. From the federal government perspective, the US spends more of its GDP than any other country on education in the world. But the problem is that the US far outpaces its spending on education with its spending on the military. According to the 2019 US budget, the US spent just under $60 billion on education, while they spent $686 billion on military and defense. The US could probably halve their military spending and reallocate that leftover money to other social services such as education and still have the strongest military in the world. And interestingly enough, during the research for this video, I stumbled upon the Trump administration's 2020 educational budget, which included a policy that was pushing for school choice. This policy would push forth initiatives that would encourage school choice and would make it so that zip code or income would not determine the quality of education any child or American family receives. The interesting part about this and why I chose to include this is because you have Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders, who are Democrats, vehemently opposing charter schools and private schools, while you've got Republican policy that is for pro-choice. I could have thrown this segment into the last video about the Democratic Party, but it has more to do with education. But the parallels are still there. This is just another example of Democratic Party policies hurting minority communities and underprivileged communities. So the education gap is a lot more nuanced than simply citing systemic racism as the cause. As you guys see, there are policies that impact people based on their zip codes, their school districts. These policies hurt anybody that's poor. It doesn't matter if you're black, white, Asian, brown, or whatever ethnicity. These policies impact you equally. The thing here is that they disproportionately impact black communities due to the poverty rates in them. The last point in this video I wanted to make was I wanted to point to the liberal bias present in public education and on college and university campuses. This bias is especially overwhelmingly present on college campuses. Most educators and professors have a liberal bias, meaning that only certain viewpoints are explored in the realm of education, whether we're talking politics, sociologically, economically, etc. This makes it harder for students to explore and test their critical thinking abilities in the real world because they're only exposed to one side of the story. According to the Washington Times, 86% of university campuses cite negative effects to liberal biases present on college campuses. This means that conservative speakers are often disinvited to schools to speak. It also alienates conservative students who may not feel that they have the ability or that it's not safe for them to speak up. I bring this up due to the fact that these liberal biases have a tendency to explain away every single racial discrepancy by citing systemic racism. College kids, especially black kids, would do a lot better if they were exposed to multiple explanations and different sides of the debate in order to come up with their own reasonings why. If every lecture you attend as a black student tells you you're a victim, you're a victim, you're a victim, and the system is built against you, how do you think that's gonna make you feel? That about sums up the video for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed what I had to present. That about sums up the video for today, guys. I hope you enjoy what I had to present today, and I encourage you guys to do your own research and see if you come up with the same conclusions or see if you learn something else. That being said, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to our Curious Idiots channel and join the discussion. I'll catch you guys next time, and as always, stay curious, my friends. I didn't notice you guys there. But since you're here, don't forget to follow us on Twitter, check us out on Instagram, and check out our latest video on the screen. Peace, guys.